we kind of tailed right into that?
Yeah, right. You don't need it going.
Don't score him. Just
Maybe don't, or just put
transition,
a nice little transition, Gary, that kind of just spills over, and then he comes up.
Yeah.
Something like that, maybe. Yeah. Okay. We got the gist of it.
Sort of in that first conversation with the director, I have glimpses of what it could be. Every project starts roughly the same way. Somebody comes into the room and says, I got this idea, it'll be fun to do. It'll be a fun adventure, etc. You know, and they tell you the idea, and you get drawn in, and you get excited, and you're flattered that they're even considering you. Whoa, me, you know, I get to go on this ride. And then they leave the room, and then you have a moment of reflection. You go, I have no idea how to do this. Oh my God. And then after a while, you think, should you be phoning them and saying, you know, hey, you know, I think you better phone John Williams. I have no idea how to do this. You know, the blank page is always the blank page. Plus, I have no idea where music comes from. So, you know, there's always the fear that somebody's going to switch off the tap.
This is a film called Race. I've been working on it for a week, so I'm just beginning. I'm just sort of getting into my process with it. Where I'm thinking it should start is just coming up. And, you know, I mean, I'll start with it coming in really, really quietly.
No.
Well, why not?
You want to win a gold medal?
Sure.
You want to do it in Berlin? Well, I mean, unless you were planning on waiting.
There's a change of direction in the scene, and that's often a prompt for where music will come in.
They don't care much for color folk over there.
Well, they don't care for much here in Columbus either. Is that going to be a problem?
I just gave me the run.
Well, then for the next 28 months, you're either in the classroom or you're on that track. Every hour, every day.
As a composer, when you're sitting there watching a film, it's not like watching a play or real life. There's camera positions, there's cuts. It's an incredibly artificial medium in a way, and it's really nothing like real life.
We have to find clever ways to introduce something familiar.
A motif is a group of notes that might highlight what a film score is. A good example would be Close Encounters. Dun, 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 dun.
Beethoven was one of the first composers to really take a theme or a motif and spin it out in a huge way. Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. The entire piece is based on that ya-da-da-da rhythm.
Simple hooks, just like a pop song, but you're then casting them in different lights.
By using motifs, it helps you to understand the relationships in the story.
Dear Baba.
When you hear a certain motif, you connect it. And it actually helped you follow the story.
By the time we get to the end of the film, when you play that music in its full glory, it's already familiar to the audience.
We're kind of building things up to that main course.
The director is not a huge fan of strictly orchestral elements, so we're exploring. In here, this Buck, he's working on a movie now called The Gunman. We're working on together. We're a little bit under the gun, and that's nerve-wracking. One of the things we were working at was processing these kalimbas. It's a simple African instrument. And next week we'll be here quite a bit. I'm pretty relaxed about it. Buck's not. But there's a lot of work to do. It's the kalimba you hear. He's following a mystery to find out what's happened. The music needs to have a bit of intrigue. cracked the puzzle on this pretty quick.
As film grew up in terms of the subject that they were tackling and what the filmmakers themselves were seeking, film music itself changed. It became more modern in style. It embraced jazz.
A Streetcar Named Desire was Alex North's first film score. And he comes in with a history of having written ballets and concert works in New York and tackles his first film assignment and writes the most revolutionary score of all time. The first film score incorporating jazz in the writing structure. Jerry Goldsmith said when he heard the score for the first time, he knew that film music had changed and would never be the same.
Bond. James Bond.
John Barry came from his own band, performing music that sounded like early James Bond music. By the time he wrote James Bond music, he was bringing a band sensibility to movies.
The thing about big band was that it was cool and it swung. It felt like this was a guy who could do anything. You will not hear any film which is to do with spying or secret services without a reference to Bond. I mean, it's become the thing to go to in the same way that Morricone was for spaghetti westerns.
Ennio Morricone, he's not going to hit you with music that makes you go, whoa, what is that instrument? Whoa, how did he make that sound? But what he will do is just kill you with a melody.